Picture this. You go in for a simple checkup and walk out with a surgery you never needed. After 70, some tests can quietly take away your strength, your independence, and precious time with the people you love, and almost no one talks about it. I'm Dr. Samuel Hartley, and today I'll share 5 checkups where the risks may outweigh the rewards, and the safer paths you can take instead. Stay with me because number 2 surprises even experienced doctors. If you've ever sat in a waiting room, heart pounding, hoping for good news, you know how deeply a single test can change your plans. But after 70, research shows some screenings bring more false alarms, more invasive follow-ups, and more stress than benefit. I've seen too many older adults spend months recovering from procedures they never needed, time they could have spent with family, walking in the garden, or feeling strong in their own home. Today we'll uncover the 5 big ones, backed by research, so you can choose what truly protects your health and independence. 1. Breast cancer screening, overdiagnosis. Evelyn was 74 when her doctor suggested another routine mammogram. She felt fine, no pain, no changes, but she said yes, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? A week later, the phone rang. A shadow, biopsy booked, surgery scheduled, and then the truth. It wasn't cancer at all. She'd been through weeks of fear and recovery for something that would never have harmed her. Here's what most people don't realize. After 70, your body's chemistry changes in ways that make certain cancer screenings far less reliable. One of the biggest shifts is something researchers call inflammaging, a constant low-grade fire in the body. And just like a smoke alarm that goes off when you burn toast, this fire can trigger false alarms on scans. A major 2023 study in the Annals of Internal Medicine looked at more than 54,000 women over 70. They found that nearly 1 in 3 diagnoses in women 70 to 74 was likely an overdiagnosis. By age 85, it was more than half. And here's the surprising part. The extra screening didn't lower breast cancer deaths in these groups. So, if you're past 70 and your past mammograms have been clear, it might be time to have a different conversation with your doctor. Sometimes the best choice is to space screenings farther apart, or stop them entirely if your risk is low. That way you protect not just your health, but your time, your independence, and your peace of mind. But for men, there's a similar trap hiding in plain sight, and it's one I see far too often. 2. PSA screening harms in elderly men. Frank was 72 when his annual checkup included yet another PSA blood test. He didn't think twice, he'd done it for years. A week later, his doctor called. The numbers had changed. Suddenly, he was booked for more tests, then a biopsy, and told he might need treatment. But here's what happened next. A second opinion revealed something crucial. His PSA had been stable for years, and the new reading was just noise. All that stress for nothing. See, after 70, men's hormone levels, especially testosterone, naturally decline. That alone can make PSA readings less accurate, leading to more false alarms. It's like checking the oil in your car every hour. You'll see changes, but they don't mean the engine's about to fail. A 2023 study in JAMA Network Open found that more than 55% of men aged 70 to 74 were still getting PSA screenings, even though guidelines recommend against it for most in this age group. And for men with a PSA under 1.0, the 10-year risk of dying from prostate cancer was less than 0.1%. That's almost zero. So, if you're over 70 and your PSA has been low for years, it may be worth talking to your doctor about stopping routine screening. Instead, focus on noticing real-world changes, new difficulty urinating, blood in the urine, or sudden pain. Those are the moments when testing makes sense. And gentlemen, let me ask you this. Have you ever faced a confusing or scary PSA result? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might save another man from needless worry. Because next, we need to talk about a test that becomes riskier than most people realize. The moment you pass 75. 3. Colonoscopy risks. After 75, George was 78 when his doctor suggested another colonoscopy. His last one, years ago, had been fine. No symptoms, no family history. But he went ahead because that's what you do to stay safe. The procedure seemed simple until the next day. Sharp abdominal pain, a trip to the ER, and 3 days in the hospital for bleeding from the biopsy site. Here's the part few people talk about. After 75, your body doesn't bounce back from procedures like it used to. Blood vessels are less elastic, tissues heal slower, and even mild sedation can hit harder. It's like trying to patch an old garden hose. The repair can hold, but the risk of leaks is much higher. A 2025 Kaiser Permanente study found that for adults aged 76 to 85, the risk of death or hospitalization within 30 days of a colonoscopy was 2.3%, double the risk for those just a few years younger. And the complication rate, it jumped from 5.6 per 10,000 in ages 70 to 74 to over 10 per 10,000 after 75. Now, that doesn't mean you should ignore colon health, but there are safer options, like at-home stool tests, such as FIT or FOBT, every year or two. They're non-invasive, and if something unusual shows up, you and your doctor can decide on next steps together. Miss this next step, and you may undo the progress you just made. Because sometimes, the danger isn't from what you're looking for. It's from what you weren't even searching for at all. 4. Routine, full-body scans. Rosa was 76 when a friend convinced her to book one of those peace-of-mind full-body scans. No harm in checking everything, her friend said. A week later, the results landed, and her world tilted. 3 suspicious spots, urgent follow-up tests, 2 biopsies, weeks of waiting, and then nothing. Every single spot was harmless, but by then she'd lost sleep, shed weight from the stress, and felt more fragile than before the scan. Here's the problem. When you're older, your body carries more harmless anomalies, tiny cysts, calcifications, nodules, things that have been sitting quietly for decades. But high-resolution scans pick them up like a magnifying glass, finding every speck of dust in your house. And once they're found, the pressure to investigate can be enormous. A 2022 BMJ meta-analysis found that full-body screening in healthy adults doesn't extend life, but it does lead to incidental findings in over 30% of cases. Most of those findings, benign, yet they often trigger invasive, risky procedures. That's why many doctors now advise against routine full-body scans, unless you have clear symptoms or a specific medical reason. Think of it like tearing down your walls just to check for termites. You might find nothing, but cause plenty of damage in the process. The smarter move is targeted testing, guided by your symptoms and personal risk, so you spend your energy living life, not chasing shadows. And even heart tests when you feel fine can set you back more than you expect, especially after 70. 5. Cardiac stress tests. Without symptoms. Helen was 73 when her doctor suggested a treadmill stress test. She wasn't having chest pain. She walked her dog every morning without trouble. But she thought, why not? Halfway through the test, the technician frowned. Her results looked abnormal. Within days, she was sent for an angiogram, an invasive procedure with its own risks. The outcome? Her heart was perfectly fine. Here's the thing. After 70, your body's stress hormones, especially cortisol, don't follow the same steady rhythm they used to. That natural alarm system can be jumpy, making your heart respond differently under artificial test conditions. It's like calling the fire department every time you toast bread. Lots of flashing lights, but no real fire. The American College of Cardiology reviewed the evidence in 2024 and found that routine stress testing in symptom-free seniors didn't help them live longer, but it did create a nearly 40% false positive rate in healthy adults over 70. False positives lead to more testing, more costs, and sometimes procedures that carry real danger, especially for older hearts and blood vessels. If you're active, symptom-free, and your last heart check was normal, the safest path is to reserve stress tests for when something changes. New chest pain, unexplained shortness of breath, or sudden drops in stamina. That way, you save your energy, your money, and your peace of mind for the moments that truly matter. Because after 70, wise medicine isn't about doing more. It's about doing what helps you stay here, healthy, for the people you love. Maybe the real secret to staying well after 70 isn't racing to every test. It's choosing the ones that actually protect your health and letting go of the ones that steal your time, your energy, and your joy. I've watched too many older adults spend their best days recovering from procedures they never needed. And I've also seen the relief in someone's eyes when they realize they can focus on living, walking in the garden, holding their grandchild's hand, cooking a favorite meal, instead of sitting in another waiting room. So, here's my invitation to you. Talk with your doctor. Ask, does this test still make sense for me now? Your healthcare should fit your stage of life, not the other way around. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had a medical test you later wondered about? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could help another senior make a better choice. If this video has given you something to think about, subscribe to Healthy Aging Hub for more science-backed tips on living strong, independent, and well after 70. Because the more we share, the more years we can fill with the moments that matter most.